Hello and welcome to the Integrative Health Convention 2018 online interviews. Today we're going to find out more about Havening techniques, and Louise McKay, who is speaking at the convention this October at the Park Plaza in London. The Integrative Health Convention is an annual convention in London featuring many leaders in their fields of complementary and conventional medical therapies to help people get better through their various different healing practices. It's an opportunity for doctors, therapists, and the public to meet, share, learn from, and connect with each other. Now, there are unfortunately a limited number of tickets available, and these can be purchased at integrativehealthconvention.co.uk. At the Integrative Health Convention, we believe that true health is holistic and that people get better in more than just one way. We believe that we all have so much to learn from each other, and that the Integrative Health Convention provides a stage for this, for therapists, doctors, and the public. This series of online interviews will help you get to know our speakers who are all leaders in their different fields of health and healing, and maybe help you decide which talk to choose from out of the 36 different talks over 2 days at the Integrative Health Convention 2018. I'm your host, Dr. Wong, and I've been a GP in Devon for the last 12 years, and I am co-founder of Neurolinguistic Healthcare Limited, the organizers of the Integrative Health Convention. Neurolinguistic Healthcare provides courses in advanced communication skills and therapeutic techniques, as well as training in hypnosis for healthcare providers. Today, I'm speaking to one of our excellent speakers who's coming to the 2018 Integrative Health Convention on the weekend of the 13th and 14th of October at the Park Plaza Victoria in London, to share with you what she knows and to tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does and what to expect from her talk at the convention. So this is Louise McKay. She's an accredited Havening Techniques trainer and is head of Havening for the UK and Europe. Louise runs 2-day courses in the UK and internationally that introduce those working in the fields of mental health and physical health, personal development, and peak performance to the neuroscience, theory, and hands-on experience of Havening. The 2-day course is also a prelude to the assessment program for certification in the Havening techniques. Her current dates and locations of her training can be found at www.havenit.co.uk, and I'll put this down in the description below, and also a link to it in the YouTube description. So welcome, Louise. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to meet you today, To, and thank you for having me.
Shall we begin by letting the audience know a little bit more about yourself, what I didn't cover, maybe?
Yes, aside from being a Havening Techniques practitioner, I'm also a person-centred and integrative counsellor based in Gloucester. My counselling skills and experience blend beautifully with the Havening techniques, which is great. And I'm also very passionate about teaching. Before I became a counsellor, I worked for nearly 25 years teaching and training in the equestrian world. So that's something else that sort of followed me in my work as a trainer, and I really, really enjoy sharing information with people. I really do get a good vibe out of that. Love it.
Amazing. What exactly is the Havening techniques?
Well, that's a big question. It was developed, so it has been being developed over the past 16 years by Dr. Ronald Rudin, MD, along with the help of his twin brother, Dr. Stephen Rudin, DDS. It's a psychosensory therapy or technique. So it involves the sensory input of touch, in this case, Havening touch, to alter the mind brain. Now, from our understanding of the research in neuroscience, we look at how traumatic encoding gets there in the first place, and also how Havening touch works to delink this traumatic encoding, but also along the lines of how we can use touch to integrate new information as well. So there are kind of three layers to this, if you like. There's biologically delinking previous trauma pathways in the brain, and down-regulating unhelpful states, so state management. Also, we have an application for personal development, resilience, personal growth, peak performance. And then the third thing is self-care. So this can be widely applied. There are several types of havening. One of the main types, which we call event havening, which was kind of the first type of havening that was developed, works very well with specific events. So we're always looking for the foundation of an issue. So if somebody comes in with something, we are looking for where this comes from, where does this stem from, what's at the core of this. And that, as practitioners, is where our wider knowledge is. The application of the touch is incredibly simple, but it's the understanding of how trauma is encoded and how it can manifest through a lifetime to cause us, disruption in our lives and change our behaviours, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. So event havening would involve activating a memory by recall, and this can be fleeting. It doesn't have to be for a long time, just so that the person can feel those unpleasant responses. And then we can use distraction techniques as we apply the havening touch from an understanding of what's happening in the brain and how those pathways are vulnerable at that moment. So this is really cool for working with people who don't want to relive or go over what's happened to them. They can connect with it mentally and physically very, very quickly, and we can make their process a much more positive or neutral one by using distraction. There are other types of havening that deal with delinking pathways, and there are also types of havening, as I said, that help us integrate new and positive information into the system. So, it's a really flexible tool that can be adapted to all sorts of situations.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I'm curious how and what brings someone to be interested in their field, in health and healing. Can you tell me how you got interested in what you do and the story behind how you started doing what you do now?
I can very much. It's I kind of stumbled on it. It's like havening found me rather than I found havening. I kind of think it came to me at a very good time in my life when everything stacked up. I stumbled across a DVD that had this thing on it. It all looked a bit strange, and I didn't think much of it. And then I was experiencing some anxiety one evening, and I thought, I'm going to try that thing on that DVD. So I did, and 5, 6, 7 minutes later, I felt really calm, and I just went about my business. I honestly didn't really give it much thought. And then some weeks later, one of my clients was just, I was working out of a GP surgery then privately. One of my clients just asked if there was anything I could recommend to help them manage their state, in between sessions, just to help them with some anxiety. And I just thought, I wonder if I could find out more about that havening thing. So I Googled it. And there really wasn't much online at that point at all. I mean, it was practically unheard of. So I found at this point a clip from an introduction to havening that Stephen Rudin, Ron's brother, was doing to a group of neurofeedback delegates at a conference. So it's just a shortish video. And when I started to watch, because I was looking to find out about this slightly odd-looking touch therapy that I'd seen, I heard the word neurons and receptors and neurochemistry and the thalamus and the limbic system, and I just I thought, wow, this is really catching my attention. It was really quite fascinating to me, and I was instantly hooked. I saw Dr. Rune do a demonstration. I just thought this is going to be amazing for my clients, because I very much enjoy counselling and I love working with the person-centered model. But sometimes we get to something and I just think, gosh, if we could just do something with this. And I just got this client, that client, that client. Oh my gosh, we could really do some great work here to actually de-link some of this stuff we've unearthed. So I managed to get on a training course, a 2-day course. It was the second course ever in the UK, so I was really lucky. Within about 3 weeks of seeing this video, and I bought Ron's book, When the Past is Always Present, read it twice, was just jumping up and down to do this training. I hadn't gone for myself, I'd gone for my clients, because after sort of 3.5 years of counselling college, I'd done a lot of self-work and I didn't have anything, nothing pressing. It was purely for my clients I was going. But then when at the training, I suddenly realised, wow, where did that come from? In our hands-on practice, I was actually experiencing stuff and accessing stuff that I thought was long gone. So when I came home, I thought, right, I'm going to be my own case study. I'm going to throw everything at this. So I decided to work on myself. I was my own client 24/7 with whatever came. And I used every different type of havening there is on myself. And 5 years on, it was a great test, because everything I've worked on has stood the test of time. If you get a really good, solid, successful result with havening, because it's like we've removed a little bit of apparatus within the pathway, it's delinked. So the upshot is that, just as example, you can remember what happened, but you no longer experience those emotional and physical responses. And I have really given it a good test. Anybody who goes on my website will see me jumping off the stratosphere in Las Vegas. That was the ultimate test for somebody with a height phobia so bad that I really struggled going over bridges, which turned into difficulty motorway driving. And this all came amazingly from falling off a very high slide when I was 6. It's that kind of, it's so fascinating and so interesting working with this technique. But yes, that I then became a practitioner. I was a practitioner for about a year, and I got on the training program. And there aren't many trainers worldwide. I think there's about 20 of us. And I was very lucky to get on the trainer program, because that's being sort of closed now, essentially. But I'm really proud to be head of UK and Europe for havening. I was deputy head for a couple of years before that, which is largely an administrative role, but I do support the doctors, and we work together developing the havening technique. So it's been a roller coaster, but an incredibly interesting one. And I have benefited enormously as a human being, having come across this, and it's given me insight into how I can help my clients better. And I've learned so much about the technique from using it myself.
Sounds fascinating. And so you're going to tell us more in October at the Park Plaza about the havening techniques. And can you tell me a bit more about what you're going to talk about and what the audience will gain out of it?
Yes, I'm going to dip into the neuroscience, because that's really what, as I said, really what hooked me. But in a gentle way, of how trauma gets encoded and how havening alters those pathways, and how we can integrate new information. I'm going to hopefully be doing a demonstration live, so I'll be looking for a willing volunteer. And hopefully I can demonstrate how this is a gentle, flexible, accessible technique that once a client has, I would always advocate that folks come and see a certified practitioner to get through any big issues or anything, that they really need support with. But once a client's got the hang of it and they start to understand how they operate and how they can help themselves, we're looking at a tool that they can use them for life. It's something, I have this little thing, I say, just add hands. If you've got issues, if you're not feeling great, just add hands. And they can sort of be empowered to help and support themselves going forward. And it's in the long run, it's something I see people less, but I see more people. There's lots and lots of people in the world that need help. So it's not about seeing people for very long periods of time. The technique itself is much more direct focused on where we need to go. So yes, there's lots of benefits for folks coming hopefully to see my talk.
Great. That's what we like. We like self-care and then having to consult less.
Yes.
As general practitioners anyway.
Yes.
Having thought about the Integrative Health Convention, where the audience will be made up of doctors, therapists, and the public, where do you see your particular practice, havening techniques, fitting in with integrative health? That means with...
Yeah, I mean, it's a bolt-on, essentially, and also it's a standalone. So, I mean, my students, the folks that come to trainings are generally doctors, psychologists, EMDR practitioners, EFTers, TFTers, hypnotherapists, NLPers, folks who already have maybe a large group of skills that they use, that they can use. Havening blends beautifully with everything and anything. It's also just fabulous, just used on its own. So it's very versatile in that respect. But you also mentioned self-care, and therapists, people who work in mental health, first responders. I mean, there's such a wide range of folks who work in an environment that is challenging mentally, not just the things we hear on a daily basis with our clients, dealing with our own stuff, but also dealing with our own stuff, but also our self-care around what we have to listen to every day. And this can be absolutely fantastic to look after ourselves as human beings. We've all got our own journeys and our own experiences of life, and this can be a wonderful tool to have at your fingertips, quite literally, to help you with your daily work and your own stuff. While you're havening, this is sort of something I've followed as I've worked with people. While you're applying the touch, and this is something I didn't mention earlier, that yes, this is a touch therapy and it's permission based, obviously. But if a person doesn't want you to apply the touch, as I've said, all my touch was self-applied, so you facilitate or guide that. So there's no barrier there. And you can also work on Skype. I have loads of clients on Skype. But when you're actually applying the touch to a client, you're also stimulating skin receptors on your palms, which is kind of giving you a bit of that back. So it's kind of a very it sort of keeps you safe. That's just one way of putting it. It's like protecting you, putting you in a really great state while you're caring for somebody else, which is also superb. And yeah, I've found that really beneficial.
Gosh, it's very interesting, very different from a lot of the therapies.
Yeah.
Sounds... they're really looking forward to that. So I'm asking one particular question, extra question. This is the last one. That as a therapist and teacher with years of experience, what do you think, in particular, is the key to healing in what you do? So I'm looking for something personal as to what you do that you think makes the most difference.
Yeah. There's something that when I was at counselling college, touch was not something you'd go near, train, not even to shake a hand unless it came towards you. You know, touch was absolutely taboo. So it took me a while to get round that, because it, you know, been ingrained in me. But there's something incredibly special about working in this way with another human being, caring for somebody is in this way. It's very nurturing. I feel very in tune with the person when I'm working with them and I'm caring for them using this touch. And we use essentially the palms of the hands, and you'll find out if you come to the talk why these areas are significant, and the shoulders and down to the elbows and the face, or one of those bits, or whatever, you know, whatever a person is comfortable with. But these are all areas that we would naturally, you know, touch. Maybe a mother would stroke a baby's cheek, or somebody might hand wring when they're a little bit stressed, or you might comfort somebody by just putting your hand on a shoulder and rubbing an arm, putting your hand around them and rubbing. So it's a very natural process. It's very gentle and it's very soothing. And the joy of that being matched with a neuroscientific understanding for me is just fabulous. That, you know, we're doing something incredibly natural that has a biological basis to it. That really floats my boat. And the results have been, you know, for me personally, astonishing, and I've seen fantastic results with clients that, you know, made a real difference. It's been life-changing.
So touch, very interesting. And actually, those regions that you're pointing at has something to do with the motor homunculus. So do you know anything about? Yeah.
Yeah.
As a doctor,
It's
I love that.
Yeah, when you realise what this is all about and how we soothe ourselves and others all the time naturally. When you start to see people and you understand, you know, what this havening thing's all about, you start to see stuff that you maybe didn't see before and think, oh, they're havening. Oh my God, that person's havening that person. And, you know, oh, you see on an advert or something. I think my husband said to me last night, look, and yes, they're havening, and they don't even know they're doing it. So we're just taking this understanding of something very, very natural and instinctive, and just understanding about what's happening in the brain and using it within a process that can get, you know, de-link some of these unhelpful pathways and allow people to move on and function.
Sounds absolutely fascinating. I wish I could attend your talk, and I hope I'll be there. But then there are so many. There are 36 different talks to choose. So many talks. I hope this interview has helped the audience watching it to help them decide which one to attend. So remember to, so thank you for taking the time to watch, to do this interview with me, and thank you to the audience for watching this. Remember to get your tickets early now from the website, integrativehealthconvention.co.uk, by following the links below. We are the Integrative Health Convention in London on the 13th and 14th of October 2018. We're at the Park Plaza, Victoria. You can use the discount code podcast10, which will give you 10% discount as a gift from us to you for spending your time with us. So thank you very much. And when we see you in October in London, you get to meet Louise, myself, and loads of other incredible speakers. And what you'll find is everyone will have the same sort of ethos and want to make people better through various different practices. We'll see you then. Thank you very much.